Namaste, guys!
I'm Ma'ile.
I'm Carolee. Welcome back to our channel. Something that we get asked all the time is the story of how we met. So we thought that we would jump on here and share it with you guys.
Yeah.
So we actually met
on Facebook dating.
Yeah. It's 2025.
Right?
Yeah.
So we started talking on Facebook dating, and how that even started for me is I was on a healing journey last year, big time, and what happened is I actually separated from my marriage, and I'm a seer, and I have certain gifts that help create visions and dreams for me, which has happened throughout my life. But I had this dream, and I mean, it was a good chunk of time ago, before I met her, any of this, and in this dream, so to kind of paint the picture for you, in this dream, I was with this lady, and she had dark hair. I knew she was older than me, and in my dream, her name was Kelly. And I just remember, as I was in this dream, there was people all around us. It was such beautiful energy, and I remember the feeling of like complete like raw connection, and just this like unconditional love, this joy, this like fun, adventurous, exciting, but peaceful and calm energy.
Like serenity?
Yeah. Literally. So this is funny.
Is it serenity awakening inside of you?
For real. So I remember that feeling, and I'm not kidding, guys. When I woke up from this dream, it was probably like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I immediately jumped on my Facebook and I started searching for Kelly's everywhere, because I just felt like I had this knowing that this person was my person. And so I literally searched everywhere for Kelly's, all through Utah and even in Texas. Like, I looked everywhere for this person, and I could not find this person like that I saw in my dream. And so I was like, well, okay, I guess it'll happen when it's supposed to. So I kind of just leaned into letting it go. And I got to a point in my healing throughout this that I was opening myself up to dating. And I started dating multiple people. I was like, I'm not going to get into anything. I just want to go date and see what happens. And I actually met someone, and their name was very similar to Kelly. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like it like popped back in my head, and I was like, holy crap, like, is this that person? And so like I won't lie, like I kind of just went all in with my heart and was like, okay. And 2 weeks later found out no, it's definitely not my person. But then that's when I was like, no, I'm just gonna date a bunch of people and see what happens. So throughout this journey, I had been talking to one of my best friends, Brittany, and just kind of telling her what I was going through with each person that I was seeing, and they all became mirrors for me. And it was really interesting to kind of go through this. But as I got to stronger and stronger connections, I just kept having this feeling, and I told my friend Brittany, I was like, Brittany, I really like this person, but I can feel this. Somebody's coming into my life like soon, and this person is my person. And I just knew. And then
yeah. So where I was at was so about 3 years prior to that, I was coming out of a high demand religion, and I was married with 6 kids and had just gone through a divorce, and I had started to kind of explore my sexuality, and I had started dating a woman for the first time, and I had fallen in love, and this love felt like something I never experienced before. And I was in that relationship for almost 2 years, changed my entire life. And coming out of that, I wasn't looking to go into another relationship. I had put on my profile, like, I just want a spiritual friend who will go to cacao ceremonies, drum circles, hape, like oracle cards, do all this fun spiritual things, go up to the mountains and play our drums. And I wasn't looking for a relationship. I didn't know I was going to instantly fall in love. But we clicked immediately, and we started talking on Marco Polo and sending Marco Polos back and forth like 24/7. And it got really deep really fast. Like, we started talking about like all the things that happened in our past, like past relationships, family dynamics, different traumas and things that we went through. And we just connected on a really, really deep level instantly. And then you sent me a Marco Polo.
Yeah, so we got really raw, really vulnerable, really fast, like she was saying. And because of that, I don't know, I just had this feeling that I needed to share my dream. And so I shared my dream with her, and I was like, yeah, it was so crazy. You know, I started my healing journey, and I had this dream, and I had a dream previously about the person I was married to, and, you know, saying that I was supposed to date them and all this stuff. And so I was like, okay. And I learned a lot through that. And so I try to listen when I have those dreams, but I let it go. And then for some reason, it just got brought back up. And so I shared my dream with Carolee. And
yeah, I was listening to her Marco Polo, and when she said that the person in the dream, her name was Kelly, like my jaw, like hit the floor. I couldn't even finish her Marco Polo. I had to pause it and respond immediately.
Yeah, you did.
And I was like, are you sitting down? I was like, I hope you're sitting down. If you're not, you need to sit down, because this is going to blow you off your feet. This is crazy. But so growing up, I had very low self-esteem. There was some abuse that happened in my family. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had a really challenging childhood, and I always hated my name. I just thought that Carolee was like this grandma name. I mean, my grandma, her name was Carolyn, and so I kind of just associated it with like a grandma name. And I always, I was like jealous, and I wanted to be one of the popular girls, and they were always like Brittany or Jessica or Jasmine or Tiffany, like, I don't know, just the girls in my school that were popular. Like, nobody's name was anything like mine. And I remember we were moving to another city in 4th grade, and I thought, this is the perfect opportunity to change my name. And so I remember sitting in the living room with my family. I was sitting next to my mom on the couch, and I was like, you know, we're moving. I'm going to be starting a new school, and it would be the perfect opportunity to go by something else. Like, I want to change my name. So we were kind of like discussing as a family, and I don't know if my family knew how serious I was. I mean, I think there was kind of a lot of jokes in there, but I was so serious. And my parents didn't love the names that I was picking out, and they were like, that's just so different from who you are. Yeah, like, just like they couldn't picture themselves calling me something like that. So my mom suggested Kelly. She was like, well, you know, if you say Carolee kind of fast, it kind of sounds like Kelly. And I didn't love it, but I agreed to it because it was going to make my mom happy, and everybody agreed. So I went into my room, and I got a piece of cardboard, and I punched some holes in the sides, and I tied a piece of yarn around it, and I wrote, my name is now Kelly, and I came out and announced my new name to my family. And I actually went by Kelly for, gosh, like 20 years. And it wasn't until my 30s that I started my healing journey. And I slowly started to learn what it felt like to accept myself and love myself. I learned about self-love. And then I decided, you know what? I don't want to go by Kelly anymore. That's not even my name. That's not even my middle name. Like, it's not who I am. And I started to embrace the name Carolee because I started to love myself. And my dad even, he made these little things for me that say Kelly. He's a woodworker. And so I sent her that Marco Polo and told her that story. And I was like, I have proof.
So when she told me that, like, I was in shock, and it was so funny because I actually jumped off her Marco Polo, and I was sitting on a bench, and
In Maverick.
yeah, and I reached out to Brittany, and I was like, Brittany, you are never gonna believe this. Like, and I told her what happened, and I was like, what the crap is happening? And I was like, oh my gosh, like, the universe couldn't give me, like, a blatant name. It had to be a little bit of, like a mystery.
Yeah. Well,
because the timing was off.
The timing,
when I had the dream.
Yeah. The timing was so off because I was not ready to meet you.
Yeah.
Like, I had just gotten out of that other relationship, and I was still healing from that, and I wasn't, like, if you would have found me, I would have been like, I'm taken. Like, I'm not, why are you, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, the timing wasn't right. And so that's so interesting that it didn't give you the name Carol Lee because you might have found me.
Yeah. No, because there's not, I've never met another.
I know.
So I was like, oh my gosh. Like, and so everything clicked for me. I still was a little skeptical because I had been through some things. And I was like, I'm not going to, like, think that it's this. I'm gonna see what happens, because I thought that with the other person I started dating, and obviously clearly 2 weeks later I was like, oh wow, no, not that person. So I was like, okay, well, this is crazy. It does feel like it's connected, but let's just see how it goes. So we start talking more and more.
Well, you showed up.
I was like, I gotta know today.
She showed up on our first date. So we were Marco Poloing, and
was that day?
We had just,
I'm pretty sure it was that day.
Oh, you were like, we gotta meet.
Yeah.
We were gonna have to check Marco Polo and see if we met that day.
Because I just looked at it. So I had messaged Brittany October 31st, and I was like, you'll never guess this. And I just looked at it, so I know it was the day.
Wow. And so she actually had a date that night with somebody else. But after she met me. But she showed up. Okay, so we were on Marco Polo, and we were just talking about lunch. Like, you had already eaten or something, and I was hungry.
Yeah.
And you were like, what do you like?
Yeah.
And I was like, why? Because we live close to each other.
Yeah.
And she was like, what do you like in the area? And she, like, really wanted to know. So I was like, fine, this Thai restaurant's my favorite. And she's like, I'll meet you there. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't even have makeup on. Like, my hair is wet. I'm not ready. And we met there, and you showed up with oracle cards.
I did.
She brought oracle cards, and I was like, my people.
Yeah, I totally pulled her cards on our first date. It's totally fun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But yeah, I mean, so we met, we went to that date, we really connected. We didn't have a ton of time because she had to go pick up her kids, and I had another date. And so I was like, all right, well, this was beautiful, amazing. She decided that she wanted to kiss me, and I won't lie, it was amazing. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't even know how I'm going to go on this date, like, because I was just feeling some things.
I just met Kelly. Like.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. So I went anyway. And she went and, like, got dressed up for Halloween.
Trick-or-treating.
Yeah, and went with her kids, and I just couldn't get her off my mind.
We were sending, we were texting, and I remember, like, trick-or-treating and, like, smiling and, like, looking down at my phone, like.
Yeah, and I was on a date. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But I just knew, and I tried really hard. Like, I even tried to really connect with the other person, and the other person's amazing. Wonderful friend of mine, and I couldn't get her out of my head. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And so I texted her, and I was like, do you want to maybe meet up tonight? And just, like, I don't even know what I said. Like,
we just wanted to see each other. So, yeah.
And so I left the date. Well, first I had to go check on my kids. So I left the date to go check on my kids. They were with their mom trick-or-treating, and I wanted to see them. And so I went and kind of checked on them, and then I stopped by, and we had such a connection. Like, it was just this huge spark. And it was really, really beautiful. Yeah. And I swear, like, from that moment, we just never grew apart. Like, we just merged, and we were like, all right.
Like it was over. It was game over. Like, I'm like, maybe I do want a relationship.
Yeah, literally. I think it was like a week later.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was November 4th, so a week later, not even a week. She asked me to be her girlfriend. So that's how our story started. We just wanted to give you, we literally get this question all the time.
Yeah.
And we have more. There's so much more to go through, but we wanted to just kind of give you the rundown of the very beginning.
Yeah.
And just kind of share that. It was very special.
Yeah. So thanks for coming along our journey with us, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, stay tuned for the next one.
Love you guys.
Bye,
Namaste.
Guys. Namaste.